Let's face it, we all need breaks from our kids. It's impossible to be on 24/7 as parents. And trying to be on all the time leads to us resorting to things that we hate because we are burnt out, right? It leads to more yelling, more threats, more punishments, losing our cool and saying things and doing things that we later regret because we're trying to be on all the time. So instead, I really recommend taking short breaks throughout the day. I like to think of parenting like a marathon, not a sprint, right? And as we're running the race, we're gonna need times to drink our water and take a little bit of a break right here and there, right? And I really think that that's one of the keys to more patient parenting is taking more intentional, thought out, planned breaks. So in this video, or in this episode, I should say, I'm going to be breaking down how to communicate to your child that you need a break and how to kind of set them up for that and set them up for success so that they don't feel abandoned by you. They don't feel like you're like just leaving them or rejecting them, because we don't want that either. So there's an art to this, taking breaks in a thought out way that everybody's comfortable with. So I'm going to be breaking that down in this episode. Before we dive into the episode, I want to share with you really quickly that I created a free 2-minute quiz to find out your unique parenting style. So you answer the questions, and based on your responses, I give you some feedback on what your parenting style is, and then based on that style, some tailored practical support and tips to keep in mind as it relates to parenting and getting more cooperation and having more connection with your little one. So you can take the quiz by going to themomspsychologist.com/quiz. It's free, it takes 2 minutes, and it's a lot of fun. So definitely check it out. The link will be in the description if you are watching on YouTube. All right, so let's dive into step by step how to take breaks when you're with your kids. So step number 1 is you're going to want to set them up with an activity for them to do, right? So whether that's puzzles, reading, coloring, or doing some kind of art activity, playing quietly with their toys, playing a game, playing outside, if you have a backyard and it's all fenced in and it's childproof, that could be an area that they could go to while you take your break. It could be bath time if you are nearby and supervising, of course. But just kind of think through and plan ahead and even get their feedback of what they want to do during your break. Okay. So set them up with an activity and then let them know why you need space. So a lot of the times what happens is we get really triggered and we're like, okay, I know I need to take a break right now because I don't want to yell. I don't want to do all those things that I hate. So I just need to go. I just need to leave, right? And while it's very important to take those breaks in the heat of the moment so that you don't lash out and do those things that you hate, I would much rather prefer, or what we're aiming towards is to take intentional breaks throughout the day so that we can try to prevent some of that as best as we can. Of course, we are human. We can't prevent everything all the time, right? That's impossible. But ideally, what we're doing is we're getting into the habit, we're getting into the routine with our little ones where they come to expect and understand why we take breaks, and so that we're not doing it in the heat of the moment. So that, because kids, they're egocentric, right? So a lot of the times, if they see us leave when they're feeling triggered, they might feel like, oh my gosh, like it's my fault. I caused this. I'm such a bad kid. They can internalize that, right? So we don't want that. As best as possible, we want to try to prevent that. So what really helps is being intentional about our breaks and helping them understand why it's so important for us to take our space when we have intense emotions. Sometimes we will want to gravitate towards others and get some support, and sometimes we won't. Sometimes we will want to take some space and be by ourselves for a brief amount of time. So helping them understand, just like I want you to take your space when you need it, mommy, daddy, whoever, I need to take my space too when I need it, right? And that this is normal, this is healthy. I come back when I feel calm, right? I'm not leaving forever. but I need to take some space just so that I can calm my body, right? And so just providing some education on why that's so important. This is really powerful modeling, right? If you think about it, when you feel triggered or when you just need a break, right? You don't always need to be feeling triggered to take a break, right? But when you can model that for them, then they're like, oh, this is normal. This is healthy. This is just what we do, right? Instead of yelling, instead of getting aggressive, instead of throwing things, I can just go take a break because I've seen that before. I've seen my caregiver do that. So I know that that's something that I can try for myself and see if it works. And oftentimes it does really help, right? And so you can say something like, I need some space so that I can calm my body down, or I need to rest so that I can get ready to play with you later, right? So let's say, it's midday and you're tired, you're feeling really overwhelmed, and you're like, I just need to meditate for, a good couple minutes. I need to just have some quiet time. I need to just take some space. You can let them know, hey, I just need to rest my body, and then right when I'm done, I'll be ready to play with you, right? Or I just need to, shore up some of my energy so that I can get ready for the next, whatever it is, however you want to say it, however it feels natural for you, but just helping them understand, right? That, again, you're not leaving forever. This is a brief amount of time, and that you are going to reconnect with them before. Okay, step 3 is to let them know where you're going and that you'll be back. This is important, right? So we're not leaving and then they don't know where we are and they're feeling afraid, right? We don't want to create a sense of fear during our separation if we can avoid it. Obviously, sometimes it's not avoidable, and these are things that we need to practice, right? That separation and reunion routine. But one way that you can help is to just be very frank about where you're going and that you'll be back, right? So you can say something like, I'm going to the patio, I'm going to the bathroom, I'm going to my room, I'm going to sit on the couch, wherever you are going, and I will be back, right? And I need you to stay here while I take my break, right? Because remember, it's important that we take our space when we need to, and right now, I need to take some space. And then step 4 is consider using a visual timer. I really, 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 really recommend a visual timer, especially if this is a new process for you guys, because it can help children feel safe when they can see visually how much time is left and when you're going to come back. Now, most importantly, though, you have to come back when that timer goes off. So I don't know, sync it with your phone or whatever if you're stepping out, or maybe stay close by so you can hear it go off. And then you have to keep to that promise that I'm going to be coming back when that timer goes off. But it can be a really powerful way for kids because, again, they don't have a good concept of time. So if you say, oh, stay here, I'll be back in a couple minutes. They're like, what is a couple minutes? I don't know what that is. What's 5 minutes? What's 10 minutes? That feels all foreign to me. So having a visual timer can just be a very concrete reminder for them of when you're coming back and how much time is left on the clock. So set a visual timer, and you can say, I'm going to set the timer for 5 minutes, and then they can see it. So here's one that I use. This is called the time timer. So when you set it, they can see, I don't know if you can see that right there if you're watching on YouTube. You can see that it turns a blue color, so they can see how much time is left on the clock. And then it beeps. It makes this really loud, obnoxious beep, beep, beep sound. But it's just a very helpful way for them to know. And then you can say, please stay here until the timer goes off. And then 5, show your appreciation for their understanding. Show your appreciation for their patience. And then leave, okay? So you don't want to dawdle. You don't want to over-explain yourself. You don't want to linger, because if your child sees that, they're like, are you uncomfortable with this? What's going on? Oh, are you leaving or not? All right. So you want to, keep this short and sweet. Don't linger. Don't hold on. Right. And then just say something, like, thanks for understanding. So again, bonus tips. Don't wait until you are about to lose it to take a break. Now, of course, if you're about to lose it, go take a break. But don't let those be the only times during the day that you take a break. So ideally, you practice this separation and reunion process throughout the day in little increments. Maybe it's just a couple minutes, right? I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'm going to do this. Blah, blah, blah. We're back. You know what I mean? So practice that throughout the day so that they're more used to it. You're more used to it. And Bonus tip, don't reach for your phone. I know it's tempting. You know, Instagram's got a hold on us. Social media's got a hold on us, right? That's our habit, is to reach for our phone. But just think, like, do I feel rested when I take a social media break? Sometimes we do and sometimes we don't. So be honest with yourself on that and try to think of other things that you can do in those couple minutes, whether it's just sitting and being mindful of what's going on around you, having a glass of water, looking at pictures, reading, you know, a quick article or something, or reading a couple pages out of your book, or journaling. Try to find something else that you can do in that short amount of time other than reach for your phone, because you'll often find, you know, that it's a little bit more restful, if you will. No hate towards social media, of course, right? But just try to push yourself. If you're often reaching for your phone during that break, push yourself to try and explore other ways to take breaks. Even just sitting outside and just, you know, taking it in, and having a moment of just silence and presence can be very powerful. Okay, 10 out of 10 recommend. Another bonus tip is, if your child struggles with this, be sure to debrief with them when you come back, right? So let's say when you came back, you could tell that they were upset by this. Of course, debrief when you come back. You know, lead with, thank you for understanding. You know, I feel so much better now that I've been able to take a break, but I know that this was hard for you. I can see it. You know, how did this make you feel? You know, what are different things we can try out next time mommy or daddy or whoever needs a break? You know, how can we work as a team on this, so that it works for everybody? But of course, you know, debriefing and just allowing some space if it's been troublesome for them can be really, really helpful. And again, ending with the importance of why we take breaks, why we take space in the first place, right? And that this is something that they can do too when they have really intense emotions. Such a wonderful skill to model for your little ones. Now, of course, I'm going to caveat all of this information by saying that, you know, your ability to take breaks is going to depend on your child's age, and other factors, meaning that, you know, the younger they are and the more dependent they are on you, of course, you know, it's not going to make sense to leave all the time, right? It's going to make it harder for you to take breaks where you're leaving the room. And of course, that makes sense. So always consider your child's age, their development, and where they are, you know, and take that into consideration. So if you have an infant or a really young toddler and this doesn't make sense to take these breaks, you can find ways to take breaks while they are there. So one thing that I loved to do when I was a stay-at-home mom of 2 under 2 was I did a lot of stroller walks. I would turn on a podcast or YouTube or turn on their music and just kind of zone out for a little bit, get some fresh air, walk, practice mindfulness by noticing things around me and pointing it out to them sometimes, or just being silent. But stroller walks were so powerful for my mental health. Also, car rides, same kind of idea there, right? Where everybody's contained. And we're just looking around, right? We're taking it all in. It can be a great way to take space when you're with your kids, or putting them in a baby carrier. That was like major key. I'll link the one that we loved. But I would put my little one in the baby carrier and we dance, and that kind of felt like a break, if you will. Also, FaceTiming with family and friends. The American Academy of Pediatrics does not consider this screen time, okay? So FaceTime with some family and friends. Let your baby interact with other people, especially if you're solo parenting and you're like, this is a lot. Don't be afraid to call somebody, okay? And have them read to your little one or interact with them and sing to them, so that you can take a little bit of a break. And then also, you know, putting them in a bouncer or a play mat, obviously, can be another way that you can take a quick break for yourselves. But take breaks, okay? Find ways that work for you. where you can take little short breaks, because remember, parenting is a marathon, okay? It's not a sprint, okay? So we have to find ways to take our drink of water and take our break throughout the day. So if you're watching on YouTube, let us know down in the comments ways that you have found that are helpful for you in terms of taking breaks. Again, don't forget to take my free 2-minute parenting style quiz to find out your parenting style. And based on your results, what are some tips and recommendations that I have for you to increase cooperation and increase connection in the relationship with you and your child. To take the quiz, you can go to themomspsychologist.com/quiz. It's 2 minutes, it's free, and it's a lot of fun. So yeah, that's all I have for you today. I will see you in the next one. Bye.